Good evening, everyone. This is Prajakta. I would like to warmly welcome you all on behalf of NGEN Research. Meanwhile others join, what I will do is introduce our topic for today. Our webinar topic for today will predominantly revolve around portfolio analytics of a client. Before really diving into portfolio analytics, we will understand how you can load a client's portfolio in multiple ways on NGEN Markets. Firstly, we will have a look at the RTA connection. Next, the ECAS statement upload, the PDF ECAS statement upload. We will then look how you can upload a portfolio from Excel. And lastly, manually by typing in the names of the mutual funds or stocks. So those are the 4 ways we will understand how we can onboard a client portfolio. Next, we will dive into a portfolio analytics with respect to risk versus return parameters and comparing its performance with respect to a benchmark. That's about the portfolio performance. Then we will move ahead to understand the contribution analysis of the components of the portfolio which form the portfolio ultimately, and how do they contribute in the overall portfolio returns. And of course, the drawdowns analysis. Drawdowns analysis will tell you what is the strength of the portfolio to recover from a loss. We will also understand this on the basis of the overall portfolio as well as individual stocks or mutual fund basis as well. Lastly, we'll move on to understand how we can generate a PDF, which is a 4-pager consolidated report from NGEN Markets of the analytics that we would have just seen. And of course, a customizable PowerPoint report wherein you can add slides according to your requirement, which you think should be of most importance for presentation to the clients, and like a proposal for the clients. So that will be an amount-based PowerPoint as well as a percentage-based PowerPoint. So let us now start. Let me now move over to NGEN Markets. Once you land on NGEN Markets, firstly, the RTA connection. That is where you can onboard all of your existing client portfolios. So what do I mean by existing clients is all of your existing RTA clients, basically the ones which invest through you through your ARN numbers, or in case of an RIA, your RIA codes. So all of them will be onboarded on NGEN Markets by a methodology called as RTA connection. Once this connection is done, all of your existing clients will be visible on the left-hand side panel on the client section. In the client section, basically, you can just click on the client's name and run the portfolio analytics on the fly. For this, we capture the Carvi holdings of your clients on a weekly basis, and CAMS happens on a daily basis. We only capture the holding files. So for Carvi, it is MFSD 203, and for CAMS, it is WBR4. This is one way of capturing all of your existing client holdings. Now moving on to a prospective client. For that, there are 3 options. One, you can directly click on Launch Tool Statement Analyzer, which is right there at the top. When you click on Statement Analyzer, a new window gets opened. You just click on this, choose a file. When you click on choose a file, you just have to choose a PDF file, which is the ECAS statement from it could be a CAMS, NSDL or CDSL ECAS statement. So I'm just uploading a file. Just put in a password. Generally, these are password protected. Generally, PAN number is the password, and click on check file. So it will tell you that this is a recognized file type and this is a CDSL file. Once this is done, you can put in an optional label. So I'm just putting in a test file as a label. Alternatively, what you can do is name the name of the client, basically put in the name of the client and maybe the month to which the CDSL ECAS relates to. So that can be done. Of course, this is optional, but this can be done to organize the files in a better manner. Once you name a label to the file, just click on process and save. This takes some time, and once this is processed, it will appear on the right hand side right here. Currently, you can see everything blank right here. So once this is processed, as you can see, it has now gotten uploaded. All of the holdings from this file have now gotten captured into Statement Analyzer, which is a tool on NGEN Markets. Once you've onboarded the client on NGEN Markets, move back to the main platform and head over to the client section. In the client section, there is a tab right beside the RTA connection, which is Manual Data tab. Manual Data, just have to click on Add a Client from Statement Analyzer. When you click on this, the same window wherein you added the client's ECAS file will open up, and you just have to click on this Add button or plus button. It will onboard all of the holdings of this client from that file into the system. So you can see the name of funds or stocks, the units, and the value. So this value is taken on the basis of latest available closing prices. So we are currently on 9th of June 2023. So the closing prices are available for 8th of June 2023. So all of these values will be updated on the basis of 8th of June holdings, NAVs. Once this is onboarded, you can just click on run analytics and the portfolio can be used for doing analytics. That's the first way of onboarding a prospective client. The second way of onboarding a prospective client is by using add client manually. Here, let's say you do not have the ECAS statement of the prospective. So what you have an option to actually type in the names of the schemes or the stocks and add them one by one. So let us just consider an example. So test. Click on add client. Once this is done, there are two text boxes. If you want to search fund names, you just have to search here. So let me add a couple of schemes. Once I add a scheme, I just need to enter either the units or the current value. So let's say I know for a fact that in this PGIM India Mid Cap Opportunities, the client holds, let's say, 1,000 units. I just have to put in amounts and it will automatically capture the current value, which will of course be on the basis of 8th June 2023 closing prices. Similarly, I can even add stocks here. So let's say, for example, ITC. And I know that this specific client, let's say, has 300 units of ITC. Just put in the units and the value will be captured. Similarly, let's say you have a specific value and are not aware about the units. So even that option is there. So let's say, for an example, in this fund, I know the amount that the client holds. So let's say it is 2 lakh rupees. I just put in the amount and the units will automatically get captured. So you need either of this. Once this is done, you just click on done. Once you click on done, the entire portfolio will get saved. And then, of course, you can click on run analytics to run a detailed analytics of the portfolio. That's the second way of onboarding a prospective client. The third way is the Excel upload, wherein you just need to have ISIN numbers, and alongside that, either of amount, percentage, or the value. For that, you just have to head over to the portfolio section, which is the second last tab right here. In the portfolio section, just click on add a new portfolio. Here, if you click on this, add a new portfolio, new window gets opened and load ISINs from Excel. This is exactly the place where you'll be copy pasting data from Excel. So let me just load a data file once again. Okay, so these are a couple of these are some ISIN numbers, and of course alongside that I have some units that I want to upload on NGEN Markets as a portfolio. Once I have this, I go back to NGEN, I click on load ISINs from Excel, and you can see a gray box right here which says copy from Excel and paste here. So here I will just go back to Excel, copy this. Just make sure you do not have the column heading. So ISIN and units is not required. Directly the ISIN numbers and the units of it. So Control C and go back to NGEN and Control V. Once you've done this, then you need to ask the system to read this as units or shares. So as I've put in these as units, right? So I need to ask the system to read these as units or shares example. So I click on units or shares and click on validate input. Immediately, once I click on validate input, all of these ISINs will get captured in the system on the basis of their names of their funds. And of course, it will convert the units or shares into percentages. Once this is done, you just need to name the portfolio or something and then click on run. That's the third way of loading a client on NGEN Markets. So that's how you run analytics on any of the portfolio. Once this is done, of course, running analytics, we'll just come to that in the next session, in the next part, basically. So these are the three ways, and of course, the RTA connection is always there. Now, let me load a portfolio and show how you can really perform portfolio analytics of it, which is the second part of the webinar, and compare its performance of the portfolio with the benchmark. So when I have to load a portfolio, I just have to click on the drop down and click on run. Immediately, once this is done, the analytics will run. And first tab, of course, will be asset allocation, wherein we'll understand what is the split of the portfolio and its components into various asset classes. This will also give you a split as to how does it happen on the basis of subcategories as per SEBI classification. So as you can see, in banking and PSU, there's some percentage, it's 23.9% coming from a banking and PSU fund, which is a subcategory. And of course, the other large cap, small cap, mid cap as per the market capitalization of it. That's the asset allocation part. Let us now move over to performance tab. In performance tab, you can check that your portfolio performance is charted in the manner of a blue line right here. And the black line that you can see is the benchmark line. So let's say I want to perform this analytics from, let's say, 3 years ago. So you can definitely change the start date. There's a start date change option right here. I'll put it as 3 years ago. And I just run analytics on this. Once this is done, it will auto benchmark this portfolio against an option which is available already on NGEN. So this is benchmarking the portfolio against reference index 3, which is a combination of Nifty TRI and CISL bond index in the combination of 80% and 20%. Of course, this is not rigid. This is not hard-coded. This is something you can change on your own. This has taken this as a benchmark on the basis of asset allocation of it. This can definitely be changed by clicking on custom benchmarks and manage custom indices. So that is definitely possible. But now let us proceed to the portfolio analytics of it. Now what you can see is how does this portfolio perform vis-a-vis a benchmark with respect to multiple parameters. Firstly, with respect to risk, we have something called as annual volatility, which is a measure of the standard deviation of the fund of the portfolio in this case vis-a-vis a benchmark. So we can see the risk of the portfolio is 11.04 from 2020, of course, and on the other hand, the benchmark standard deviation, which is annual volatility, is 12.64. So our portfolio is definitely better than the benchmark during the time period under consideration. For risk parameters, we also have something called as a value at risk parameter. It tells you what is the downside risk protection that is being offered by this portfolio against a benchmark. So with a 95% confidence interval, what we can see is there's a downside risk protection of 17.46. That means the portfolio can go down and give in worst returns to an extent of 17.46. In other words, if 100 rupees is invested in this portfolio, your capital erosion would be 17.46 95% of the time, right? So there's only a 5% chance that your loss would be even worse than 17.46. On the other hand, the benchmark during the same period has a downside risk protection of 20.61. So this is definitely, the portfolio has definitely a better downside risk protection vis-a-vis a benchmark. So that's the value at risk parameter, which is a historical parameter. This is historical value at risk. Implied value at risk also works on the same logic. The only difference is historical value at risk takes into consideration the annual returns parameter to come up with these numbers. Implied value at risk takes into consideration the annual volatility of it. Now, moving ahead with the return parameters. For returns, we definitely have the CAGR and the cumulative return of the portfolio vis-a-vis the benchmark. But what we also have is the excess that the portfolio has generated over the benchmark in, of course, the time period that we have chosen. So in the time period that we have chosen, we can see that the annual excess cumulative excess over the benchmark is 27.24, which is generated by the portfolio. If it is annualized, it comes to compounded, basically 9.01. And with respect to this annual excess, if we were to calculate the information ratio, which is nothing but a ratio between the annual excess divided by the tracking error. Now, what tracking error will tell you is how, what is the standard deviation? Basically, what is the deviation of the portfolio returns vis-a-vis the benchmark returns? So typically, how does it differ with respect to a benchmark in terms of the return performance of it? That's about the information ratio and the tracking error. Now moving ahead to the up capture and the down capture ratio. What this tells you is with respect to a bull run or a bear run, what is the performance of a portfolio against a benchmark? So in up capture, as you can see, we consider only those months where the benchmark under consideration given positive return performances. So that means if I click on this I button, this will give me a drill down and I can see only those months. You can see June 2020, then July, August, and then directly October. That's because only these were the months wherein the benchmark gave in positive returns. Everywhere in the benchmark column, you will see only positive return numbers. That's typically an indication of the bull run. So in a bull run, in a specific bull run that is going on in the markets, which is depicted here by the benchmark, how was the portfolio performing? So for an example, in June 2020, the benchmark went up by 2.44%. On the other hand, the portfolio went up by 2.93%. So cumulatively adding all of this, the asset, which is the portfolio, went up cumulatively by 45.82. On the other hand, the benchmark returned only 45.04. So a higher the up capture ratio ideally is a better thing, right? So if it captures well with the benchmark in a bull run, that's definitely a good thing about the portfolio. The down capture ratio, on the other hand, tells you what was the performance of a specific portfolio or for a fund for that matter in a bear run. So why do I say this as a bear run is because all the month-on-month benchmark column figures you can see here are only negative. That means that is an indicator that the only those months are captured wherein the benchmark given negative returns. That's an indicator of a bear run. Okay, so with respect to a month, how did the benchmark return and how did a portfolio perform during the same month? So that's really depicted by the down capture ratio. So ideally, the target should be lower the down capture ratio, the better will be the portfolio's performance in a bear run against a benchmark. That's about the up capture and down capture ratios. If you scroll further down, we have monthly breakdown. Monthly breakdown of the portfolio performance and of course the yearly breakdown. So reading this is pretty simple. So what this does is month on month, the performance of the portfolio is mapped right here and it is tabulated right below it. So there were 37 months from the time that we have considered. So from June of 2020, there have been 37 months all. Out of them, 26 months, the portfolio gave in positive returns. Positive meaning above zero. Right? And there were 11 such months when the portfolio returns were negative, below zero. That's the reason its down months are 11. And of course, this is the percentage of it. So 26 out of 37, that's 70.27% up months. 11 out of 37, that's 29% down months. And among these, what were the best and the worst performances, basically best return generated by the portfolio when the portfolio was going up? That was 8.95. On the other hand, what was the worst that the portfolio gave in returns when the overall portfolio was doing good? So the worst was 0.66. On the other hand, similarly, it works for yearly statistics as well. Now moving on to the third part of our webinar, which is contribution analytics and drawdowns analysis. For contribution, let me first come to the contribution tab, which is the third tab. This tells you how has been the contribution of each of the component of the portfolio in the overall portfolio return. So what I can really see from here is this bar graph here indicates how each of the components of the portfolio contributed to the overall portfolio return. So I can see PGIM contributed to the overall portfolio return to an extent of 42.01%. And what is PGIM's contribution or what is its allocation in the overall portfolio? It's the highest, which is 35.80. So if PGIM performs well in the specific time period that we have chosen, the overall portfolio returns will definitely be better. That's what contribution analysis tells you. So we can check this for even each and every component of the portfolio. So I can see this. If you want to check this a little in detail, just click on this bar graph and you can see that Bandhan Banking and PSU debt fund, which is a component of the portfolio, has given in a percentage contribution to the overall portfolio returns to percentage of 3.76 in the overall portfolio returns. You can definitely check this for each and every component. We have even given you a start and end dates in the contribution analysis, wherein you can actually put in different dates and check how did the contribution of the components change over a time period. So let's say for an example, we consider 4th of June 2020, which is of course the start date for this analysis. So 4th of June to let's say 1 year from this start date, right? So 2021, 4th of June, and run. So in this period that I have considered right now, which was the component that was performing the best. So in this case, I can see PGIM was still the top contributor to the overall portfolio return. The second was Tata Ethical Fund, right? So that's how your contribution changes over a period of time. So this is nothing but we are creating multiple scenarios to check how did the contribution that was generated by the components of the portfolio changed over a time period. That's about the contribution analysis. Next, moving on to drawdowns analysis. Drawdowns analysis will tell you what was the strength of the portfolio to recover from a loss. This is typically given in the form of a graph and indicated in terms of gray periods and the white periods. So whatever you can see in gray are the drawdown periods. So let me read this from the table. So I can see that there was a worst drawdown of 13.19%, wherein the portfolio fell from 192.48 to 167.09. And this time period was 2020 to Jan of 2020 to June of 2020. And to recover from this loss, the portfolio took 56 days, which the recovery finally happened on 6th of September 2022. So this is on the basis of overall portfolio level. All of these 10 drawdowns are listed right here. If, let's say, we want to check this on individual fund levels, which is a component of this portfolio, we just have to take all of these components to the compare section. For that, you just have to click on this compare button. It will take all of these components that are a part of this portfolio in the compare section. Once they are in the compare section, we can actually further drill down as to what are the drawdowns of these of the components of the portfolio. So for this, I'll have to just ensure that very, very young funds or stocks in the portfolio are removed so that the minimum common period is longer. So once this is done, I can see that the drawdown analysis, let me choose a common start period. So let's say 2020 and June. Once I do this, during the same period that we were running portfolio analytics for, the worst drawdown, I will just sort this as per size. The worst drawdown was coming from the stock. So it was Tata Motors, and the second was from ITC. These two stocks recorded a drawdown of 29.77%. And this, the length, so basically this drawdown happened over 176 days. And to recover from this drawdown, this stock took 262 days. If I want to further drill down here, there's a chart given right here, chart icon. If you just click on this, it will open up in a new window, and this will tell you the actual prices wherein the stock started falling. What was its price when the stock started falling, and then what was its price when this drawdown really ended. So from 530, it fell to 372 over a period of 176 days. After that, the stock took 262 days to recover. So that's a drawdown analysis in detail of each of the components of the portfolio. Let us go back to the portfolio analytics. Once this drawdowns analysis is done, before moving on towards the reporting options, I will just highlight the scenario analysis right here. So you can check the comparison of the portfolio vis-a-vis a benchmark in multiple scenarios. So for an example, you want to check what was my portfolio performance in lockdown 1. So I just have to ensure that the start date that I've chosen covers this period. So I will just take 5 years ago and run analytics on this. Once I've chosen a date which includes the date of the scenario that I'm trying to load, I just have to come to scenario analysis again, click on lockdown 1, and I can check that between the time period of 25th of March 2020 to, let's say, 14th of April 2020, which is the lockdown 1 period, what was the performance of my portfolio vis-a-vis a benchmark. That's indicated right here. And you need not really rely only on these inbuilt scenarios. You can add your own custom scenarios. So for that, you just have to click on here, add custom scenario, just put in the name of the scenario, start and end date, and click on save custom scenario. Once this is done, the scenario will get saved here. Once it is saved, you can actually use it effectively for analyzing such scenario analysis for multiple portfolios. So this is not specific to the portfolio that you're analyzing, but this is specific to your login. So it will stay with you once you've saved the scenario. That's the scenario analysis. Let us now move ahead to understand how we can really effectively communicate all of this analytics that we have just done to the clients. So there are a couple of reporting options. Before showing the PDF and the PPT options, let me highlight that we have now added a feature wherein you can add your own watermark of your organization name as a watermark in the PDF reports that you can generate. So for that, when you click on PDF, there's a tick box that comes up. There's a box that comes up. Just make sure you tick on it and then click on Create PDF. Once you've clicked on Create PDF, a PDF will get generated, which will be a consolidated 4-pager report of the portfolio that you were analyzing. And you can see this watermark will really appear. So with respect to your organization, it will have your own organization's logo and the name, right? That can be created as a watermark. So all of the analytics that we just saw in the performance tab, those really appear here. The top exposures, the top holdings, which was a part of asset allocation in the first tab, that appears here. Moving down, we have the top equity market exposures and of course the sector-wise exposures of the portfolio. The last page will definitely cover the rolling analysis and the drawdowns, which is something that you can definitely highlight the strength of the portfolio from in the PDF report. That's the PDF reporting option. The next option is the PowerPoint reports. In PowerPoint reports, you have two options. One is creating a standard percentage-based PowerPoint. For that, just click on this and then a percentage-based PowerPoint will get downloaded. Once you've done that, once it is downloaded, I'll just show how this will really look like. One second. So this will typically have all the exposures or all the components of the portfolio in percentage terms. So this is how it will look. So all of this in percentage. But moving ahead, let's say you want to show this in terms of a proposal or in rupee terms so that it is more relatable for the clients. We have also given you something called as a rupee based option in PowerPoint. If you just have a look at this option, which is amount based PowerPoint. Herein, you just have to put in the amount that the client holds in this portfolio. And when you put in an amount and click on create PPT, a amount based PPT will get generated. So let me just show this once again. So once I put in an amount, this is how exactly the PowerPoint will look like. So it has a capital of 50 lakhs and this is the slide that you should be targeting. So this is in rupee terms and the exposures also come in rupee terms as well. All the other parts, of course, remain the same. But because it's a PowerPoint, you can definitely pick and choose what you want to show the client and what you really want to delete from this PowerPoint, right? You can even add the slides here by taking the screenshots of whichever relevant section you think on this platform and then add that as a slide in the PowerPoint presentation. That's about the PowerPoint presentation, which is as a reporting option for your clients. Moving ahead, let me now show you the client link and the share link. In client link, what you can do is if you click on this, a mobile link preview will get generated, which if you put in a client's mobile number right here and click on create client link, he will get a SMS, which will have a link to access this something which will look like this. So when the client clicks on this, the link, it will have a preview and it will get open. The entire portfolio analytics will get open in his mobile and it will look something like this. So with respect to, let's say now you want to show this in a more detailed manner and not just a crisp mobile link preview, what you can also share is the detailed web-based link. For that, we have a share link option, wherein if you just click on this and copy this link and share it with your client, he will get to see whatever you could do on your screen, just apart from the portfolios that were appearing on the left-hand side. Apart from that, all of the client analysis with respect to his portfolio will be available for his pursual. So he can definitely change the benchmarks and check how does his portfolio perform with respect to multiple benchmarks. He can also change the start date and run analytics on his portfolio to perform a back testing of the components of the portfolio. He can also effectively change the start and end dates and check how were the contributions of the portfolio components different over a time period. And of course, the scenario analysis can also be, he can practically add a scenario and check how his portfolio performed during that scenario. That's the client share link part of it. Once this link is generated, it will stay live for a period of 7 days, after which you will have to reshare it with the client. Of course, a highlight of the share link is it is going to be co-branded as well. So once you share it, on the left hand side, you can see your own company name and logo, and the name basically will appear here as well. So that's about the multiple sharing and the reporting options that are available for portfolio performance. That's about it for the topic related webinar. If you have any questions, please unmute yourself to speak, or you can even write them in the chat box to ask them, and our team will answer it for you. Thank you. Okay, so there's a question in the chat box asking, in portfolio analytics report, only top 10 holdings are coming. Can we get all holdings with values?
Yeah, the reason we show only top 10 is because the chart gets quite crowded. So that's the reason that we show top 10 holdings. But if we go back to the platform, it may be available for download. If you just photo portfolio analysis. So yeah, let's see. I mean, you have all the exposures here. So you can actually download them. But in terms of the charts, we only show top 10.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, you're audible, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Prajakta, thank you. Other day I called you with my client, and you really did a nice job by guiding me for this portfolio report, what we are seeing right now.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So one thing what I found which I could have added more value to my investor is when we shift this entire portfolio to compare section.
Yes.
Here we get those position overlap and performance chart.
Yeah.
But in that previous slide, we don't get that. So what I have to do was I have to give two presentations to him. One was of this share where I took one PDF of this, and then I went to compare section and took another PDF showing how much was the overlap and all. If we can add overlap tab here for the same client portfolio, it could have helped me, I would say.
Yes, I think, no, thank you for the suggestion, sir. I think that definitely makes sense. Prajakta, let's write this down. I think ideally
two things we can do here is either we can, in this tab itself, we can add that portfolio overlap, and that matrix is there, na, risk versus return.
Yes. Both of those, you mean? Okay,
both of these, if we add there, then we need not go to two different sections.
Understand. Okay. Yeah, we can add this to our list of improvements. Yeah, that's fine.
So
makes sense.
In one window, we are happy to go with the client.
Yeah. So only one thing, sir. It will come in the PowerPoint, right? In the portfolio PowerPoint.
See, it can come to PowerPoint, it can come to PDF, whatever fashion you like to. But at least on one screen, see, it is only when we see this, we should be able to give single picture to client rather than, okay, now I will take you to compare section, see how it happens. We need not build the story further. On this page itself, we can continue to do that.
Exactly. Understand.
This was one thing, and one good feature what I found other day where Prajakta guided me very rightly was regarding if some portfolios are missing in the client cash statement, but it is still showing in his MF Central, then how can I add that? If you have, for the sake of others, if you can demonstrate that once again, I think many people were benefited by this. No, in this only. If when we upload the client cash statement, yeah, same thing. And still there are 2-3 missing folios which are not getting reflected in cash, which we can add
Yes,
manually, like Prajakta
yes,
showed
yes,
other,
yes.
yes. That we
Uh,
have to do that edit button and
Correct.
do it.
Yeah, so if let's say you upload the ECAS and a couple of positions do not get captured, what a feature that we have here is edit or save as, right? Just click on edit or save as, and once this is done, so whatever did not get captured, ideally that shouldn't happen in the first place. But due to some technical glitch, if that happens, what you can do is add those funds or stocks from here. Of course,
Yeah,
this will
got
get
it.
added in percentage terms, but let's say you want to add that in, let's say a number of units or shares, then you can directly move over to clients and let's say this is the portfolio which I've uploaded from the ECAS. Click on edit this portfolio. Once you
Yeah,
do that, this section gets open and you can add the funds that did not get captured
yes.
from here. So let's say it's a Nippon fund. Let's say this one, and once this is added, you can put in the units. Once this is done, you can click on done and you can see the portfolio is now updated. Now click on done and this should run fine.
Yeah,
And
got
one
it.
one more thing, sir. If you do find that some cash statement, some portion or some holding is not being read, then please, if you are able to, please just write to support@engineresearch.com with the file and the password. Because unfortunately, with PDF readers, it is always a moving target. Every now and then, we keep getting some files where the entire thing cannot be read or some issues happening. So we actually then tell our team, they check it, they fix the problem, and then it doesn't happen again. So if you do,
That's okay. But when
yeah.
we are in front of the client and it is an instantaneous decision, this
Yes,
tool
sir.
helps me. This
Yes,
this
sir.
tool helps me. We can edit then and there itself.
You can
And
quickly
whatever,
add it. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
we can. So
Yes.
he also get comfortable by seeing, okay, now whatever is missing in my, see, the data was missing in the cash, but it was in his MF Central and phone unit,
I
phone
see.
app.
I see. Okay. Okay.
So from there, I was able to upload that
Yeah.
same, and the client
Yes.
was, in fact, he happened to be the
Yes.
income tax commissioner.
Okay. Perfect. So in that case, I would always suggest that you come to the client section, not the portfolio section, because in the
Yes.
client section you can just add the numbers, the shares or the rupees, etc.
Mhm.
It's not just the fund.
And I need not save. I can have at either portfolio level or client level.
Yes.
Other day I did it. I saved it as a client portfolio,
Yes. Yes.
not at two places.
Right. Right. Understand. So yeah, if you go to the client section, you'll be able to edit it very quickly.
Yeah, yeah. So that was very. I think that the stars were good. That Prajakta was available at that point of time, and it went through in 5 minutes only. So we
Absolutely.
completed
Absolutely.
entire presentation in 5 minutes. That's so nice of you. Thank you
No
so much.
problem, sir. We are here to help in any way that we can.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Any other questions? Please go ahead and ask.
I would like to have demo of fund expert somehow, but I'm not able to connect with those people.
Sir, so from our side, we will try again. Projector just make a note and let them know. Maybe one of us can also, maybe Dave or myself, can give them a call. But yes, we can do our best to arrange that.
Yeah,
Yeah, just
only,
sir, just let me know. I will just talk to them and just figure it out if there is any kind of connection issue.
I don't know. 'Cause see, I tried to contact them 2-3 times, but they never reported. And the one question which I always ask them is, can we have multiple ARNs clubbed with single view? In our thing, RTA connection also, I asked same thing. Can I club multiple ARNs? But now I think that feature has added, I believe. See, in my
Yeah,
Yes,
case,
sir.
multiple
I'm
area is
managing.
Yes,
already
sir.
there, sir.
And you can
Yeah.
see consolidated view, sir.
Yeah, but if you see last 2-3 months back, it was not there. Only one ARN we
No,
used
no,
to have.
recently we added, sir. Recently we added.
Yeah, I was last year only I asked for this, but it got initiated now because I myself have 6 ARNs.
Understand, sir. Understand. So we are constantly adding new things. Just in the next couple of days, we are also
So I
releasing a
will
new
request
thing. So
Prajakta on
that is a
Monday.
constant process.
So on a Monday, I will ask Prajakta to connect with me and so that back office mail transfer, mail forward has to be initiated, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
just let me know, sir. I will just take care
Yeah.
of it once.
Monday.
You just let me know on Monday. I will just take care of it.
Yeah, Monday, tell somebody to call back. My name is Lalit. I'm from Hyderabad.
Yeah, I know you very well, sir.
Thank you so much. So if then it will help. The good thing I have to tell, bad thing also I have to tell. Whatever it is, I am very happy with whatever output we got with the client, and the client is also very happy. I am also very happy. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, sir. We are always ready for feedback. In fact, we want more and more feedback. So please, any problem or any suggestion, anything, please do let us know. We will act on it.
I am looking forward that for step up SIP feature, which
Yes, yes, sir. It is
in a
added.
progress.
It is added. Just please, little bit be patient, sir. We are working on so many things. You will see over the next few months, lots of new things are coming. But a step up SIP, I can guarantee you, it is being worked on. It will definitely be done. I cannot confirm time, but we're definitely going to do it. For
चलेगा
sure.
सर, जुलाई एंड तक आ जाएगा तो काफी है.
सर हम पक्का कोशिश करेंगे सर, पक्का.
चलो कोई बात नहीं. Okay, Monday I am looking
Thank you.
forward for some connections.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
sure,
Thank
sir.
you.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Please go ahead and ask.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Hi, go ahead, please.
Sir, even I am also looking for a connections.
You mean a RTA connection?
No, sir, not for RT connections, but for our experts to join me. I need to know more about this.
Fund expert. Okay, Prajakta, just
Fund.
note down. We will call those who are interested for fund expert. We will just ask them the process, and then we will just take it up with fund
Sir,
expert also.
can we do it on Sunday? Like I'm free. Can we do this on Sunday?
Sorry, what exactly do you want to sign up with Fund Expert, or you want a training session?
I want the training session, sir.
I see. I don't think we will have any people available on a Sunday, unfortunately. But any other day, if you can please try and find some time, we can arrange a full training session for you.
Okay, then
Yeah.
tomorrow, Saturday.
If you actually, the ideal case, probably this is not the right place to do it, but we have your name, right? Prajakta, can you just, just get in
Yes.
touch? Yes.
Yeah, sure. Shruti
Shruti
Gupta. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
So we will write you an email and we can coordinate that, and we'll definitely arrange a session for you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
No problem.
Sir, I am also looking for a training session.
Absolutely. The best way to get this done is if you just drop us a quick line, just one liner, just say, I want a training session, please let me know on support@engineresearch.com. Within 24 hours, somebody will write back to you and arrange it for sure.
Support at, please, can you?
Support at
at-
support@engineresearch.com. Prajakta, can you please type it on the chat? There it is. It's on the chat.
Sir,
Thank
but I would say even our video library is also very good, sir. YouTube video library.
Yes,
If
sir, we
anybody,
have.
I request everybody ki before we go for training, at least we should see at least 4 videos. Then we will be able to
Absolutely.
understand the features. So
Absolutely,
we save
sir.
the time for everybody across.
Yes, sir. So there are more than 100 videos here. Some of
Yes.
them are long videos. Some of them are only 1 minute each.
Yes.
They are called NGEN Shorts. You can check them out also. So there's a lot of resources online as well.
I really watch these videos quite regularly, sir. They are very helpful. Whatever webinar videos.
Thank you, sir. We will be adding very soon. We are also releasing a new webpage which will be public, where all the new updates will be clearly written out, as well as a short video explaining those updates in detail. That is also coming just in the next few days.
Excellent, sir. Excellent.
Any other questions, please let us know.
I have one question.
Yes, please.
Once we create the clients, can we create the family of clients?
So you can run a family of clients. by using this load multiple clients option here. Once you click
Okay.
on it, there's
Got
a
it.
checkbox.
Got
And
it.
you can
Got it.
keep using the search box to find different people. But you
Hmm.
cannot save this family information because when we update your RT information, we wipe out all history and we reload the entire thing again. So the
Okay.
family
So you have
information
only
cannot
one day
be
data.
saved. Yes.
So
yes.
you have one day data.
Yes, only latest.
Okay, got it. Because PAN number will remain constant, na sir. So I was
Yeah,
just
no.
thinking.
So yeah, that is true. That is true. Unfortunately, what happens is when we re-update the data, yeah, I mean, we can probably look at a way of saving family information based on PAN numbers. But problem is sometimes, especially with families, there's a secondary PAN, there's a primary PAN, and sometimes these shift around and causes a lot of issues. So we can try to think of a different way of doing it. But
I
as
think you
of
should
now,
allow
yeah,
users to make a
yeah.
family, and it will be based on PAN only, because there are no multiple PANs for single person. Except
Hmm.
HUF, there will not be any overlap name wise.
Yeah, there shouldn't be. Yeah. And that is our primary key in our database anyway. So
Yeah,
we will have a look, but generally speaking, you can update, you can immediately run at any
yeah,
time
I
using it.
got it. That anyway, we can manually always search and do it. But in our back office software, we have that family now. So at one stroke,
Yes,
anyway,
back
it
office
takes.
sir will back office keeps all your data transactions as well as all your client data. So we don't do that.
Yeah.
So in the back office, obviously the families are
Chale,
maintained.
no problem. Okay, fine.
There is a question on the chat saying uh, NFO, how often the NFO's update is taken. So we check with our data provider on a daily basis. We are not exactly sure how quickly the data provider, which is CMOX, capital line, updates it. But I'm pretty sure it is not delayed. It should not be delayed at all. If you do notice that there's some NFO that was supposed to be there, it is not there, do let us know. But from our side, we update it every night. Okay, there's another question from Anirban Sengupta about SIP. So once the client is onboarded, how do we check for running SIP? So okay, so whenever you onboard a client, you only onboard their latest positions, what they're holding today. We do not take from you the information about how that
Yeah,
position came to be, right?
we are not transaction platform.
No. So
No,
so that you may have 10 lakhs in Axis Midcap because you have had an SIP for 10 years, or you have a 10 lakh position in Axis Midcap because you just bought something 2 days ago. Whatever the reason, we just show you what you're holding today. So that information is not there, right?
As
We
on
don't
date,
know.
whatever are the units are
Yes.
captured. That's it. How you acquired that
Exactly.
is important,
Is
not
no.
our subject at all.
No, it is not. Exactly.
And if somebody want to dig into that, then we have that SIP analyzer in the
Absolutely.
portfolio. There we can see the SIP.
Yes. Sir.
And in the portfolio also, if somebody want to see if SIP back, he can change the date. Somebody can change the date, and from here he can check.
You can also check. Absolutely. That's basically the answer to your question.
We have to find a way out to look at that actually.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. There's another question from the same person saying, do you not have analysis of the share market? So yes, we do. Stocks are available pretty much everywhere. There's a separate fundamental analysis section right in the top section when you go for markets. These are all the 1800 stocks from NSE. Separately from that, so that's what Prajakta is showing you right now. You can click on it and you can see all the fundamental data. Separately, separately from that, we also have stocks in our database from BSE. It's about 5,000 stocks. Here you can load them into the compare section. You can also just search on the top or click on them here and load a stock. So you can analyze the price series in detail, just like we did right now. And finally, you can also create a portfolio, which can be made up of maybe a few funds, maybe a few stocks. You can have a portfolio made up of only stocks if you want, which is what you're seeing right now. So this is a portfolio of 15 stocks. So we do have stocks on our platform. Any other questions? Please let us know. Sure. Okay, so there seem to be no other questions. Just to finally end up, there's a comment asking for the recording of this training session. This does take a few days for our team to prepare, and once it's prepared, it's actually available to everybody on our YouTube channel. All you have to do is you can just go on Google and type NGEN space market space YouTube. It will come up anyway. It's a channel on YouTube. Ideally, if you are interested in watching these videos and being up to date, I would suggest that you subscribe to it because you'll get a notification that we have uploaded a new video. So in about 2 to 3 days, this should you should see another video in the webinar section. So you can see 2nd June is there, 9th June will be there. So I think we don't have anything else. So Prajakta, we can close for today.
Sure. Thank you everyone for joining in. Have a great weekend ahead. Please stay tuned for the recordings for the 9th June webinar. This will come up by Wednesday or Thursday next week. Thank you again. Have a great weekend.